welcome back to Promises Porch, the podcast where we talk all things about how to discover and develop your unique purpose. Today, in honor of Black History Month, we are going to have an intergenerational conversation, cross-generational conversation, talking about being Black and pursuing entrepreneurship and success. I am so excited because I am joined by my mom and my grandma today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with me.
Thanks
So
for
let's
having
get
us.
started.
Yes, this is gonna be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So let's start with you, Mom. Can you tell us your name and what you do and who your role model is?
Sure. My name is Ann, and I would have to say, what I do. Let's see. I teach sewing and embroidery, and I also do custom items for people. So I'm a real crafty person, as you can tell with the colors behind me. Um, my role model will have to be my dad. I guess I'd have to think about my dad. And my dad was an entrepreneur. And so I watched him work with clients and create, um, be busy and how he handled that, working by himself many times and how he handled that. So, yeah, I would have to say that would be mine. Yeah,
That's awesome.
thanks.
What about you, Grandma?
Well, my name is Martha Arnold, and I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I've had a lot of different careers. Right now, I work with my husband and youngest son in the business that we have that does insurance and retirement planning. Have a tendency to want to help people, uh, especially people of color, prepare and enjoy their retirement. My role model was my mom. I thought she was an awesome lady. She was able to balance family and work and fun because I really enjoyed the being around with my mom and doing things with her. And I tried to emulate her with how I ordered my life. Time for family, time to work, and I enjoy my family. I really do.
Mhm. We enjoy you too.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome. I love that. So going along with what you guys are currently doing now, how did you get to where you are today in regards to your career? We'll start with you, Mom.
Okay. How I got here was just kind of random a little bit. I did move from Michigan to uh, Georgia because I got tired of the snow and came here for fashion design school. Fast forwarding when my girls were little and in elementary school, they had Invention Week that they were talking about. And I had told her teacher, well, I can come in and talk about how the sewing machine was invented. So that was something different
Mm-hmm.
and sparked some excitement a little bit. So I brought my machines in. I thought everybody sewed. There was so much excitement. It kind of blew me away and shocked me. They put it into paper. It was just this big uproar. So that was kind of cool to see the kids' excitement. So the kids got a chance to make a pillowcase, each one, and color it, and that was a lot of fun. And then the kids wanted to continue to learn. There were a few that wanted to really learn how to sew. So I decided to start a camp, a summer camp that summer, and created, a little camp for kids. It was just a few. We had a lot of fun making things. It was my first time teaching sewing, so that was new, but I started to see that I really enjoyed it and always had adults asking me all along, could you teach me? I was like, no, I don't want to deal with you. And so, but I did. I finally gave in. And after the kids were done, I started to teach adults. Kids wanted to continue to learn. And so thus, teaching classes was really born. And so year after year, it just kind of grew. And that's a lot of what I'm known for, is helping people succeed with needle and thread. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's amazing. What about you, Grandma?
Well, my kids used to call me an occupational nomad because, as I said, I've had a lot of careers. I taught school for a while. I did science research for a while. I worked in the government in the area of civil rights and EEO, equal employment opportunity, and was an employee relations manager in a corporate setting. And when I got tired of working in corporate, I had always worked with my husband and helped him with what he was doing. And so the opportunity came for me to join him in the business. And so I went on and got my insurance license and started doing the insurance aspect of the business. And it, took off from there. So I think that a lot of people, I was talking with your sister the other day, and we were talking about careers. And I think a lot of people need to try a lot of things, and then you'll find where you really fit in what you really love. I can say this about my daughter-in-law. She loves people, and she loves what she's doing, and it shows up in her work.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I love that you had kind of dabbled in a bunch of different things. That's so cool. All right. So moving on, what are some of the qualities that women need to have, and maybe specifically Black women need to have, in order to be successful as entrepreneurs?
Go ahead, Miss Ann.
He had throw that at me. Let's see. I say that women, and I think it really can go for anybody. I think you need to have a passion for something. First off, if you don't have a passion for it, forget it, because there's going to be seasons that you'll come into where you're going to need to pull on that passion, why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and just remembering, what you're wanting out of it. So definitely passion, a vision for what you want to do, so that you know where you're going, and then creating a plan on how to get there. Definitely being creative, not necessarily where you have to be a crafter like I might be, but creating, nowadays content, creating opportunities for yourself. So different things like that, I would say, are good. I think you've got to have a great work ethic, because when you're working for yourself, you are your own boss. So saying that you're going to take a vacation every single day is not going to work if you never do any work. So you have to have some work ethic, some discipline, being consistent in what you're doing, and allowing that consistency to show up every time, you work, and you prepare yourself for what it is that you're doing. And let's see, I think those might be some good ones. I'm trying to think if I have any more. Confident. Yeah, I would say you definitely need some confidence, because as an entrepreneur, you can have a personality where you might be shy, and that's fine. But I think confidence showing up when you're talking to people about what it is that you do, confident in your work and what you're creating and what you're doing, confident in your purpose, confident in your vision and what you're wanting to accomplish. Um, I think those would be some great qualities. Um, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
How about you, Grandma?
I think it's also you have to not let other people define you.
Yeah.
You have to know who you are because there are always going to be, I call them naysayers, people that will think you can't do it or it's too hard or it's whatever. But you have to have, as Ann was saying, have confidence in yourself. And my biggest thing is just don't let other people define you. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be, to me, resilient.
Mm-hmm.
You things will happen. I think sometimes people think that building a business or having a business, it just goes in a straight line, like on a graph, but it doesn't. There are ups, there are downs, there are times you get knocked back, and you have to get back up and stick with what it is that you've decided that you're going to do and push through
Mm-hmm.
and keep going forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cry. I'm going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are, together with what Ann was saying, I think those are qualities that all women need. I do think, though, for Black women, um, we get underestimated a little more.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say it's important for you to not let other people define you.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those qualities sound really good. And I know there's probably somebody watching this who's thinking like maybe there's a quality like say confidence that I'm not as skilled in. So how do you develop those qualities? Is it something that maybe just comes naturally, or is there a way that we can develop and continue to grow in those qualities that you guys talked about? Let's see, we'll start with you, Mom.
You always want to start with me, don't you? I would have to say one of the things that I do, which might seem comical, is I'll talk to myself in the mirror
Mm,
and I'll remind myself, you know, who I am. You know, I'll give myself a high five.
yeah.
Like, and say, and we got this, we can do this. You know, even when I'm working and I might end up getting stuck on something, I'll pause and be like, you know, we can do this. You know, I'll pray and be like, Lord, I need you to show me how to do this if
Mm-hmm.
it's something I don't know. So I do talk to myself because really sometimes I want good advice. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm not crazy. But you do have to encourage yourself. You know what I mean? You do have to encourage yourself and be able to do that. I do read a lot to kind of build that confidence, whether they're a lot of business, you know, information, entrepreneurial information, um, and even just checking where I am mentally um, to know how to, um, I guess, you appear or how to approach, you know, a situation, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I surround myself with people that are successful,
Mm,
mom and dad being one of them who are encouraging. And so I also have friends that have businesses and we bounce ideas off of each other. So creating a community is really good when you're in business. Um, just so that you know, you're not by yourself, you're not alone, that there's
yeah.
other people that can help you and encourage you. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. What about you, Grandma?
I think too, no matter who you are. So for the person that's not quite sure or sees himself as lacking some things or they're just nervous or afraid,
Mm-hmm.
I would say to them that you are fearfully
Mhm.
and wonderfully made,
Mm-hmm.
that you were endowed with talents and skills. You were designed, not just thrown together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, you have no reason to see yourself as less than or see yourself as not capable.
Mm-hmm.
You have the capacity, but you do
Mhm.
have to put in some time and you
Mhm.
have to put in some work. You have to be curious. As Ann was saying, you have to seek out information because if you really want to do it, you will find a way to get it done. So it's not that you can't do it. It's a matter of how willing are you to put in the work, to prepare yourself, to expand your skills, to seek out knowledge and ways to do things. So I'd say that's why I say don't let other people define you.
Mhm.
You know, you have to know who you are. And yeah, everybody, you might not have the same level of skill at something, but as someone else, but you can develop your whatever that skill is for you to the maximum and find that thing that you can excel at.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah, that was really good. If I could inject, when you're sitting up there talking about, developing that skill, I think so many times we as people, or even I know you're talking about Black History Month, so as Black people, have a tendency to cower down a lot of times when it comes to our skills. And we don't really take the time to master them.
Mm,
You know, it reminds me of the movie Drumline commercial break. So it reminds me of the movie Drumline and the drummer that was on there. And the fact of his coach was telling him, you need to master your craft.
Mhm.
You need to master your craft. So whatever that looks like, whether it's, finding someone else who's a little bit further along than you,
yeah.
in the same field that you're in, who can give you some wisdom, some guidance, some lessons, some teaching in what you're trying to learn, whether it's reading book, whether it's, going to school to get further education in what you're doing. Um, but I think we as Black people need to seek it out because, like Mom was saying, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I think that we need to be able to reach our full potential,
Mhm.
um, and not just sit back and live a life of settling,
Mm,
um, but mastering. So, yeah.
that's good. Because it's not like just handed to us.
No.
No.
I feel like a lot of people struggle with that, is they'll get in this mindset of like, oh, it'll just come to me when it does.
Mm.
But like, no, it doesn't. Like you have to put in the work, like you guys said, and really cultivate those skills and like seek out to get the understanding, the knowledge. So that's really good.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So going along with your journey, pursuing entrepreneurship, building y'all's business, what are some of the unique challenges that you guys have faced as Black women in business or in your career?
You want me to go first this time?
Yeah, you want to switch it up?
Just like, it's just like I was saying, I think in many instances, you're underestimated.
Mm,
Mhm.
Um, I know we get a lot of people don't think that we would know as much as
Mhm.
some other folks know. And the truth of the matter is we have to qualify just like they do. Every year we have to pass the uh, continuing education and the same exams and everything that they pass. In fact, many of the classes that we're sitting in, we're sitting there right there with them. So the information that's being given out, we're getting. But there's this idea that people will underestimate you. And sometimes it's like, for you, they want to pull you through a keyhole in order to, if you want to call it, earn their business. But other folks are just accepted at face value just because they are. And so those are some of the things that you end up having to overcome. And again, I keep going back to the importance of knowing who you are, because we've let plenty of people go rather than you underestimate me, or you, if you want to call it, abuse me, or want to abuse me. So I'd rather not deal with that business than to take it on, because the truth of the matter is I don't have to prove myself any more than the other person does. And like I said, I'm in the same classes with them. I know what they know. And in many instances, it's not as much as I know. So
Toot toot.
I love that. Confidence.
yeah.
That's good.
And not be afraid to, not accept business, because when you're in business, you're in relationship with people, and what you're asking me to do is to do my very best, give you my very best in whatever service or whatever it is that I'm providing for you. And if you're going to judge me, and no matter what I do, my best isn't going to be good enough or a suspect, then we need a relationship, because most of what you do, no matter what the business is, and I'm sure Ann deals with the same thing in her area, is I need you to be honest with me. I need you to be honest about what it is that you want, the services that you want, how you want the service delivered. And if you're not going to be open and honest with me, then I can't do my best. So,
yeah,
That's good. I can just piggyback off of her, the same thing of being underestimated. That is a huge thing. People not realizing you're as talented as you are. Like it's shocking sometimes. I remember I have a lot of stories, but I remember one time I had a class, and after the sewing class, this particular person waited till everybody left. And you know what she told me? She's like, I didn't know you were a Black woman.
wow.
She was shocked. It wasn't insulting in a sense of because she herself was Black. So it wasn't like she was insulted in the fact that I was Black. She was just shocked in the level of excellence that she was receiving, and it was a Black person on the other end of it. I remember I had, but on the negative side, I remember there was a couple that came into the studio one time and walked the entire space. And so it's like it was an 1,800 square foot studio. Walked the entire space, combing everything, real snooty, and then wouldn't shake my hand or anything, and just walked out.
Wow.
And so it was just like, okay, it's just, so I think it's just surprising to people sometimes that God blesses who he blesses, with the gifts and the talents, and he's no respecter of your skin color. He's no respecter of your gender. Not only women, but men can be just as talented, you know what I mean, in areas. And so, I would have to say, yeah, just underestimated, definitely.
I call those my Pretty Woman moments. There's a scene in Pretty Woman where she
Yes,
goes back to the store and tells the lady, big
yes,
mistake.
yes,
You know, and then,
yes,
big mistake. Okay, your loss. Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was
And I
so.
think, oh, go
Oh, keep
ahead.
going. No.
No, I think, even as Black women, um, we should be able to take advantage of the fact of people underestimating and look at that as a challenge to continue to make ourselves better.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
in a sense of where it's like, oh, nobody's going to accept me, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
go settle over here and do something over here and not really pursuing what it is that you want to pursue.
Yeah.
To me, look at it as a challenge, a good challenge to where it's like, I'm going to keep getting better
Yeah.
and I'm going to keep moving forward in what I'm doing to continue to show you how good God is, to continue to show you how good, life can be, if you decide to pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say it was interesting how like that woman you talked to, that Black woman, almost had this notion of like it being less than or not having that excellence. And it makes me wonder how many of us, of Black people, just put that label on themselves. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
Grandma, you need to know who you are. And I know it can be so hard for some people because they grew up with putting that label on themselves, or maybe others have placed that label. And it's like, so they walk into spaces already thinking less than about themselves, thinking less than about others. And I thought that was so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you all feel like here in like 2025 and just this century, this generation, do you guys feel like the business world is evolving for Black women? And maybe if not, or if we still have ways to go, what are some of the changes that you'd want to see in our society? I
Mom,
know
I'll
it's
let
kind of
you
a
answer
loaded
that.
question.
I'll let you answer that one.
Well, I think is we had a pastor that used to keep saying the struggle continues, and the struggle does continue.
Yeah.
Um, we haven't. You don't arrive, and you
Yeah.
don't get to a point where it's done.
Yeah.
It's a constant move forward, but we can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is it takes all of us. It takes Black folks, white folks,
Mm-hmm.
Asian folks. We all have to value human beings
Yeah.
because we all are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And when we value human beings, then we don't worry about is it a Black thing or is it a white thing or is it a whatever thing. It's a human being thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Ann was saying, excellence comes in all forms.
Mhm.
And the opposite of that is crap comes in all forms too.
Yeah.
So, you're striving for excellence. And I think it's not over. It's a constant move forward. It's a constant um, understanding. And we have to be vigilant about those relationships because we can't make ourselves enemies of, we can't be enemies with each other.
Yeah.
We need to be united because one, that's what God expects. That's
Yeah.
what He wanted. That's how He designed us. We're spirits. We just have different coverings. Some of us are tall, some are short, some are chubby, and some are thin. But but we were all created, as I said, fearfully and wonderfully, and we need to respect that. And it'll take time. We've made some progress.
Mm-hmm.
We've fallen back some, and we have to stay on the battlefield and keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, going back to y'all's journey and just everything that you guys have been through, all that you've overcome, what have been some of your biggest wins when it comes to your journey in entrepreneurship and career? Mom, you want to go first with that one?
Okay. um, I would say my biggest wins have been legacy.
Mm.
Um, and the impact that I've had on people that a lot of times I didn't even know about. Um, so I would have to say that those are the biggest wins. And I remember there was a lady here locally who came into the studio one time and she was like, she had known me for a few years and her daughter was actually one of the first homeschool children I had taught sewing. And I remember her telling me one time, she's like, this is a ministry, right? And I never looked at it as such. I never looked at it as a quote unquote, calling.
Yeah.
It was just something I enjoyed. It was just something I wanted to share. But in that conversation, it started to open my eyes to realize what was actually happening. And it's almost like if you remove a veil and you start to see something for the first time.
Yeah.
And so then, stories after stories, people being fully depressed, unable to function in their life. And for some reason, they'd walk in the door and their own family members contacting me saying, "You changed my mother's life." You know, um, things where, kids were not connecting with other children or had felt like they were outcasters, or the oddball in the group. Um, Finding something that they were good at and that building so much confidence in them and self-worth in them. Yeah, so it's really like yeah, I would have to just say just the impact. I remember, and this is the last story. Um yeah, we had a season, y'all, we had a season where there were women who were trying to get pregnant and were not getting pregnant. And they'd come to class and all of a sudden, one started getting pregnant after the other. And I remember one lady, they had been trying for 7 years, 7 years, and they got pregnant. And I would literally wipe down the chairs thinking it was the chairs. Like, don't sit there unless you want to get pregnant kind of thing. And so it was just comical. It really was comical for a period of time. And, you had some where they would go into the doctor's office for a procedure. The doctor's like, I can't do the procedure because you're pregnant, and it's shocking, you get those calls. And, it just really makes your heart glad that to be able to create an environment that brought peace to people's life and comfort and excitement and fun when they needed it. You know, that would have to be, I would have to say that's my legacy. Yeah. That's the win. That's the win. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. I think that's so encouraging because there's probably somebody out there who maybe wants to start some sort of business or has an idea or maybe is in the process, but they don't think about it in the terms of it being a ministry, of it being a calling, because they feel like ministry, I feel like, is so often perceived as like, oh, it's just pastoring or working in a church, but it's so much more than that. Like we can honor God
Mm-hmm.
in everything that we do, and
Mm-hmm.
God created us each and one of us differently. And so I think
Mm-hmm.
that's so awesome and encouraging to hear. That's so good.
And I didn't know that. God had to tell me that years ago. One of the things he had told me was like, Anne, abandon all your ideas of what ministry is. And
Mm.
like you said, everybody thinks ministry or they're going to impact the world if they're behind the camera or in front of the camera rather,
Mhm.
or if they're at the book board,
Yeah.
or the one that's leading the conversation all the time. But no, a lot of times it is the person on the other side of the camera that's
Yeah.
operating it, or the person that's in the corner, encouraging and writing notes and making connections with people, following up with people. Yeah, even a person that just literally calls to check on somebody. I just want to call and check on you. You know, can
Yeah.
impact lives. It might not seem important to them at the time, but you just never know what that's doing to somebody on the other end. So yeah, yeah. Ministry looks different. Loving people looks different, and you can love people creatively in
Mhm.
what you do. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so good.
I think my high or, success is when we are intergenerational, where
Mm-hmm.
we worked with the parents and the children are now starting to come in. Their kids are coming in, and we're providing services for them. And you can see that you're making a difference in people's lives, and lessons are being, I say, learned, or um, legacies are
Mm-hmm.
being left, and people are enjoying their lives. Because I remember as a kid growing up, thinking about and looking at people in retirement, and the idea of hoping that they could enjoy their retirement, and being able to help people do that now, and seeing their children come in and prepare for theirs. So it's important work, like you say, ministry.
Mm-hmm.
It's important work, and we see ourselves as helping to make the lives of people better,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's a good feeling. That's a win for us. That's success for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
I don't know though. Your studio people, ladies, better be careful coming coming
Right.
to your studio. What'd you do with that chair?
All right. I had to change them out.
Ah, mm.
So now moving from, I guess, the past and your wins, what's something that you're looking forward to in regards to your business, your career, or maybe even life in general? What's something you're looking forward to this coming year?
Well, you know me. Mine is retirement and
Yeah.
watching my kids grow, grandkids grow, and slowing down and smelling the flowers and enjoying the coffee.
Mhm.
Rightly so. Yeah. You deserve that. Yeah. I think for me, it's with starting recently a YouTube channel is being consistent with creating content and seeing where that consistency takes me.
Mm.
That is what I want to see this year. So that's going to be cool. So far, it's been cool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's all of the questions and things that I have. Do you guys have any final thoughts or pieces of advice that you want to leave?
I think that just to tell people to keep trying,
Mhm.
keep working at it, don't give up. Uh, if you feel discouraged, I remember there was a saying from Mother Teresa. This guy said he asked her, he told her he was so tired of working, of the ministry and doing things. And he said, "How do you do it? Give me some advice. What do I need to do?" And she told him, "Your well isn't deep enough. You need to dig deeper and get some more living water and keep going." So that's the thing. When you feel tired or you feel discouraged or whatever,
Yeah.
suck it up, dig deeper and keep going, because the point at which you quit, you know,
Mhm.
you might have just been at the point of breakthrough.
Mhm.
So you keep pushing through.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Keep going. And I think for me, it's I would encourage you all to let go of perfection.
Yeah.
Um, Trust me, y'all. I am one that, Lord Jesus, God help my children. Um, it's fine to be detail oriented. You need that. I'm not saying, be a messy person and just, like Mom was saying earlier, just giving out crap. No.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have so much perfection to where you don't do anything, it paralyzes you, and you don't end up accomplishing anything. So it's okay if you messed up on a word in a podcast. That's okay. It's okay if the video caught your cat running across the screen. Like, don't just delete it. That's just life. Be natural, be
Yeah.
real, and be raw. And so, that's one of the things I have learned definitely here, in these last few years, is that it's okay um, to not be perfect. It's okay to just be present, and be present how you are and how God created you to be. And you're amazing just the way that you are. That's like the song. When you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while.
Yeah.
You're amazing. But anyway, that would be, my encouragement for you is just put that perfection to the side and go for it. Just do it one step at a time. One step at a time, and next thing you know, you'll look back and realize, oh my gosh, I built something amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Mm.
That's amazing. I thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys
Thank
being
you.
here on
Yeah.
the podcast with me. Yeah, so much wisdom and insight you guys have. Like I'm in awe. I admire you guys so much. Love you guys so much. So
Love
We
you
love
too.
you.
Mhm.
um where can people find you guys if they want to stay connected? Maybe are you guys on any social media website? Where can people stay connected?
I'm on Facebook. That's about it.
You gotta tell them where.
Oh, I don't know. Facebook.
What's is it under your name or under your business?
It's under my name. Mhm.
Martha Arnold, you can
Yep.
name? Okay.
Yep.
But you have a website though for your business,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. And
What?
that's ICI financialservices.com.
Mhm.
Awesome.
You can find me sephoriastudio.com is our website. And it's at Sephoria Studio for YouTube, It is at Sephora_studio on IG. And I think TikTok is at Sephora Studio. Yeah, I think that's everybody.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much again for being on here, sharing y'all's stories, and I hope to talk with you guys again soon. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We enjoyed
It's fun, my girls. Yes, ladies. Love
See
you much.
later. Bye.